So now I'm going to explain the link between the body and the mind. And one thing we learnt when we learnt this technique is that what is in the mind is in the body, and what is in the body is in the mind. Meaning if we've had past traumas, past distresses, our fascia and our connective tissue will actually store those emotions, store those traumas. So what you might find when you start getting some of this stuff done is it'll bring up emotions that you can't necessarily explain or put a finger on. You don't know why you're crying, or you don't know why you feel really down. This is all normal because we're trying to affect the nervous system. And when we're doing some of this work, we're able to change that nervous system, and this forces our body to process things, and this forces our body to actually process it. And what I found when we did our course was there were a couple of people that just burst out into tears, and they couldn't necessarily explain why. And our teacher was describing it to us that, you know, these are past situations that they've had that are now coming out. We are getting rid of this stored tension in the body. Because remember, when we feel a stressful state, like I explained in the other video, we want to go back to that fetal position, that position of safety. So when we fiddle with some fascia that brings us out of that state, out of that defensive state, then we have to face what's going on beneath us, all right? And in psychology, there is a phenomenon called the window of tolerance. So think of your window of tolerance through this middle portion here. We are above the window of tolerance here, and then we have below the window of tolerance. So below the window of tolerance, this is where someone is in a very low state, depression, mental health issues, struggling with motivation, all those sorts of things. That's down here. Heightened state is someone that is reactive, really angry, really stressed out, not able to perform. Where we want to be able to do life is through the middle here, through this window of tolerance where we can surf the waves of life, all right? We don't want to be too high, we don't want to be too low. So the purpose of these activations is to actually change your neurological state and bring you into this window of tolerance where you can not be reactive and where you can just perform. So if we cast our eyes over here, we have our diagram. And in this diagram, I want you to think of this area here. This is where our window of tolerance is. This is a quietened, relaxed neurological state. This area up here is our heightened state. When we're born, what happens? I'll just hold this here. When we're born, what happens is we have a life stressor. We go into this heightened state, but we're able to come back down quite easily, okay? Our body has all this room to play with in our nervous system. Now, what might happen here, we might encounter a major life event. Now, what happens is this shoots us up here. But the problem now, we only have this small window to play with here. So when we're trying to ride the waves of life, we're actually never able to dip down into the window of tolerance. We are only going up and down in this reactive area, this heightened state. And this is your fight or flight state. This is where your body's number one goal is survival. It's not to perform on the sporting field. It's not to perform at work. It's not to perform in your relationships. It is purely to survive, all right? You can't live a good life in this state. But the problem is with this major life event that's caused this trauma, this is now this person's just normal stage. This is where they live. Now, with the activation, what we're looking to do is we're trying to bring you down this neurological staircase all the way down into this calm, relaxed, and parasympathetic state where you can perform at work, you can perform on the sporting field, and you can perform at life. Okay, so we're trying to bring you down here so that you get all this wiggle room to be able to deal with the waves of life. If we don't do that, then you'll stay up here. And people stay up here, you know, this could be one major life event, or this could be a series of intense major life events where your body just gets used to knowing that I'm always going to be in this stress state. My nervous system is always going to feel like this. We want to get you away from here, because over here, when you're operating at this frequency, this is a high frequency zone, you're able to really influence those around you. People will compliment you more. Think of it like this. The other day I was actually, it's a cool story. I was in the barbershop and a guy walked in, and me and the barber noticed him. And we noticed him immediately because this guy he was standing upright. He had his chin up. He came in with a massive smile. The person behind the counter knew him really well. This guy was operating at a really high frequency. And this is something that I've noticed. When you're feeling yourself, when you're truly in your flow state and you're killing it at life and your nervous system is functioning great, people just notice you. People want to say hey to you. People are influenced positively by you. Me and my Bible, we were talking about how we felt better. We felt like we wanted to get to know that person. We felt like we wanted to know their story. And this is just a response to someone coming in, operating at a high frequency. And imagine, it's easy to just get in the autopilotness of life and just, sleep, eat, work, train, repeat, whatever. But when we truly realize what sort of an influence we can have over those around us, we realize it's a truly special thing that we're on this planet. And we're not here for a very long amount of time. So I don't know about you, but I want to be operating at a really high frequency. I really do, because I want to help other people. I want to build my business. I want to deepen my relationships. I want to hang out with my family. I want to do all that stuff that makes us feel good. And I want to do it in my best state possible. I don't want to do it in this heightened reactive state where mental disorders and all of that stuff lives, all right? So think of the activation stuff as much more deeper than just getting you to perform and getting you to be injury-free and to be faster, to be powerful. We're trying to connect you with your mind and your body, and we're trying to actually deal with maybe some past stuff that you haven't dealt with, and we're trying to get you to your absolute best version. So I hope that helps answering your question. If you ever have any questions, drop them in the comments or just message me, and yeah, I'm happy to help.